Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 56-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, y'all, I was in La Roundup at 819 St. Louis Street. It was 1998, and I had my tongue down the throat of a hustler boy from up the street. Yes. Now, the other day I said his name was Richard. You know what? I can't remember if it was Richard, Danny, Kenny, whatever the fuck it was. His name is irrelevant. Everybody knew who he was though. Like if I would recognize him today if I saw him. He had really long curly dark hair. He looked Italian and he had a big old dick. And that's why I was kissing him. And my husband Mickey walked right in the bar and he started yelling at me, "So you're just going to fuck my friends and make out with my friends?" And having a hissy fit, having a complete and utter meltdown. Now, I was working with someone else behind the bar. Okay, Brenda, it was a girl named Brenda. And Brenda was we were working together behind the bar. It was two of us back there. So I had come out from behind the bar to make out with the boy. Brenda told me, "Jamie, don't you think y'all ought to take this out back?" Because we were getting loud. Like me and Mickey were starting to get loud with each other. I was getting pissed. So I said, "You know what? Yeah, come on. Get your fucking ass out in that courtyard." Now, y'all, little thing about me and Mickey, I ran that motherfucker like a full-time job. I ran him like a marathon. You hear me? Like when I said jump, he practically said how high. And I'm not even joking because he knew if I had a hissy fit and went the fuck off the way he had hissy fits and went the fuck off, it wasn't going to be pretty when I did it, you know? So we go out into the courtyard in the roundup in the back, and he starts yelling at me again about, "Oh, that's my friend, and you're just gonna fuck my friend, and I thought you said we weren't gonna do each other's friends." And y'all, I screamed at him, "We've been together." At that point, we had been together 8 years. I said, "We've been together 8 fucking years. You have never brought this boy to our house. You have never hung out with him. You've never done anything with this motherfucker. As far as I knew, you didn't even know him. Now, all of a sudden, he's your friend." I said, "Yeah, I can see how this is going to go. So every time I want to fucking do something, it'll be your friend. But anytime you want to fuck one of these whores out here, all of a sudden, that's not my friend, right? Right, is that what you're trying to tell me, motherfucker?" And I had a Corona in my hand. I had a full beer bottle in my hand. Sure did. And I don't know why I brought the beer out there, but I had a Corona in my hand. And he was standing with his back to the wall of the building that was a restaurant named Petunia's, okay? I threw the fucking beer bottle at him. I didn't mean to hit him, and I didn't hit him. I hit the brick wall of the building next door. But it exploded. It was loud and it exploded. And this was late at night. So they come in and I get told that Petunia's, the restaurant next door, is calling saying that they've heard gunshots in our courtyard. They heard a gunshot in our courtyard. Yeah, it was a beer bottle, but they heard a gunshot. It was a whole thing, y'all. It was a complete and utter fucking disaster. And I went off and I told Mickey, "No, this is not how this is going to go down, motherfucker. When I tell you these are the rules, okay? Not our friends, not under our roof, and not rubbed in each other's faces." Now, granted, this time it was kind of rubbed in his face when he walked in the bar. So I was guilty that time. But, he and I were guilty of fucking each other over our whole relationship, really, y'all. We had good years and we had good times. And did we love each other? Yes. Mickey loved me. I knew he loved me and I loved him. Hell, I still have love for him to this day. Not in love with him. Let's be clear. Not in love with him. But I have love for him in my heart. Anyway. So later on in the summer, okay, I would say around the end of July. This was around the end of July. And I'm working in the bar one night, and in comes my good old friend Candy Slice. Now, I've known Candy Slice since I was 14 years old in Houston. That's when we first met, when her and Killer Kelly were best friends, and they were at good old Killer Kelly, and they were hanging out at the Booby Rock in Houston. Candy was the bartender behind the bar. So her and I went way back. Candy comes in with a guy. She introduces me to him. His name's John. Of course it is. Anyway, so John has a little talk with Candy. They've been seeing each other financially. He's been paying her for a little while, not very long. And John sees me and tells Candy that he would really like to get together with me. So, Candy wasn't, it's not like she was in love with him or anything. He was a client, he was a trick. She didn't really care as long as she got a cut out of it. So he did. He gave her some money. He was nice. John was a good guy. His name was John Coyne. Yeah, coin. Like coins. Yeah, it was perfect. And the very night I met John, okay, John proceeded to buy me champagne. We had a deal. I had a deal with Mark, the owner of Le Roundup. I had a deal with him that it would be 50-50. If I sold champagne, I would get half, right? I proceeded to sell, are y'all ready? $3,000 worth of champagne in one night to one man, John Coyne. John Coyne decided he had to have me. And if y'all want to know what happens next, darling, y'all know the routine. This gets juicy. Be here next time, and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. I will talk to you later. Bye, y'all.